Hey, it's your Crochet Big Sis, and tonight I'm showing you my favorite yarn brands. We have the Lily Sugar and Cream yarn, which is 100% cotton, and I like it if you have sensitive skin. But I don't like it because it frays easily and it's not really machine washable. My absolute favorite yarn to use is the Caron 1 pound yarn. The reason why is because it is 100% acrylic and it's machine washable and dryable. Although with bralettes, I don't like putting it in the dryer because they could technically shrink, so maybe don't do that, but you can wash them. Caron's Simply Soft yarn is really good because it has a metallic sheen, but it's a little thinner than the 1 pound yarn, so it takes longer to work up, and Vanna's Choice is nice, but it's like a polyester or acrylic blend, so it's not as soft on your skin. To make the triangle shape, like I do, we have to crochet 3 single crochets into the very last chain at the end of the row. That's the second chain right there. Next, you're gonna grab a bobby pin and stick it into that second chain because that's gonna mark the very top of the triangle. Now you're gonna chain into that same hole for the 3rd time. Then you're just going to keep crocheting to the very end of the row and make sure to weave the tail in like I do. After I crocheted the top of the triangle and all the way down the side, I have 2 stitches left. And here is the very last stitch. Please do not forget to do this, otherwise it will be uneven. And this is what it's gonna look like. There you go. Flip it around. Now you're going to count the stitches that you have on either side. For my 32C cup, I have 11 stitches on each side, so check to see if it's even. Chain 1, then you're just going to do the same thing over again. Make a new row, and then once you get to the top, do the little triangle trick at the very top, like where the bobby pin is. Making an even triangle is probably the most crucial part of crocheting a bralette. So I'm just going to be explaining this in more detail than my other tutorial. And you can see it's already forming, it's already a triangle, but how I do this is I mark the top of the bobby pin, and you're just going to want to crochet 3 single crochets at the top. Mark the second one, okay? That one, the second one, you're going to mark it because that's going to be the top of the triangle next. Flip it over and crochet the 3rd one and keep crocheting down. As you can tell, perfectly even, perfectly centered, it's going to be the next row. After you're done making the 2 cups as big as you want, we're going to do the hem of the top. For this row, the pattern is going to be 2 single crochets, we're going to skip a stitch, 2 single crochets, skip 2, skip 2, and so on and so forth. Alright, so we're just going to get into it. Yeah, get into it. Just kidding. 2, skip that one, go into the next one. And what it's going to do, you're going to see it moving forward. like it's already starting to do it. It's like cinching it so that your cup is actually going to be shaped like a cup and it's not just going to be flat on your chest. It's going to be supportive this way. Alrighty, this is what the cup should look like. It's going to create that like supportive bra so that it's not flat, and the next step is to join this to the other one. Now we're ready to connect the cups. And for this, you want to make sure that you chain at least 1 or 2 chains before connecting the cups together, because the boobs aren't, stuck together in the middle like that. So you want there to be a space, and yarn does stretch, so you don't need to chain so many in the middle. So for this, I'm going to do 1 chain because it's a 32C, but if you're 34, 36, 38, maybe chain 2 or 3 depending on your ribs. And we're going to insert the hook right in the very first one. As you can see, I'm leaving the yarn here so we can weave it in so the top is secure. Pull through, and just like that, your top is connected. We're going to do the same pattern as before. This counts as 1 stitch. Do another stitch here, skip 2, skip, do 2 more, and then so on and so forth. The next 4 rows of your bralette are going to be 4 double crochet rows. From now on, you're going to start each new row by chaining 3, flipping your work around, and I like to flip the bra inside out like that so it's easier. And to do a double crochet, you just loop, insert into not the first one, the second one. This is only when you start a row though. Insert into the second one, loop again, insert into the next hole, and you're just going to keep doing this till you reach the end of the row, and then you're going to chain 3 and repeat. And you're going to do this 4 times. This is what the next row of your top is going to look like. You're going to chain 2 stitches, double crochet into that first hole, chain 1, double crochet into that same exact hole that you just did. This is going to be a half open shell stitch, chain 1, skip 2 stitches, crochet into the third one for a total of 3 consecutive double crochets. And this is going to be a pattern for this row. After you're done with the 3 double crochets, chain 1, skip 2 chains, chain into the third one. This is going to be a full open shell stitch. Chain 3 after that. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, double crochet into that same hole, and this is what you're going to be left with. You're going to repeat this pattern throughout. This is what the last row of your crop top hem will look like. The pattern for this row is every time you reach a full open shell stitch like this, you're gonna do a scallop with 7 double crochets in this, and then you're gonna chain 1 and reach over to the middle of the 3 double crochets and do 1 double crochet in there, chain, then do 7 more scallops in this one, and so on and so forth. If you ended the row like me with a half open shell stitch, you're just going to chain 2 and then do 4 double crochets in that open shell stitch instead of 7 like the full open shell stitch. This is what it should look like after you did the 4 double crochets. You chain 1, then do a double crochet in the middle of the 3 double crochets. To make the side of a crochet top, I like to chain 1 and then basically just do single crochets all the way across. Doesn't matter technically like how many single crochets you do, you just want to make sure after doing this you count the amount of stitches you do so it matches the other side of your top so it's even. I made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 single crochets, and I'm going to write that down. Next step is to make 4 double crochet rows. So to do that, At the beginning of each row, you're going to chain 3, flip it around, and double crochet into the next hole. So you're just going to keep double crocheting up here and keep going for 4 rows. Now we crochet the strap for the corset back, however long you want. After you finished making the first side and you just tie it off like this, what you're going to want to do is take this other side and just go like this. That way it's facing this direction and this is to the right. Then you're going to take the end of your string or yarn and you're just going to weave it into your work like this and tie it. I know there are many ways to put yarn into your work, but this is how I like doing it the most. And you're just gonna do the same exact thing as the other side, but I just wanted to show you guys how I start doing the single crochets, and that's it. Now we are going to be making the halter straps for your bralette. I personally like using this method because I've machine washed my tops and they have not come undone, so it's very secure. So taking your bobby pin off, which marks the top of your triangle, you're just literally gonna, instead of putting your hook this way, you're just gonna hook it in like that. And then you're gonna take your yarn, loop it around, and pull it through and tie it. Make sure to leave like about 3 or 4 inches. This is how I transform my loose ends from this to this so that my work does not unravel. I like leaving a couple inches on the end because what I want to do is weave the tail into these little braids right here. And I just do that by inserting my hook, pulling the tail through. Don't pull it super tight. We're gonna tighten it at the very end. So as you can see, I'm just weaving it like every other on opposing sides. Weave for 1.5 inches, grab the loose string and pull it tight. You're gonna cut the excess and then you're just gonna knot it, and just like that, it will be secure. Ta-da!
I guess I'm just a play date to you.
Diva, fucking leave her. My life is a movie directed by Tarantino. Shawty is a dancer, I'm not talking Billy.